Today we will be briefing you on a 2023 action-adventure comedy, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Sit back and enjoy. The film opens at the Acropolis Museum in Athens, Greece. Two goddesses, Hespera and Calypso, also known as the daughters of Atlas, enter and come upon the broken staff of the wizard Shazam. They break the case holding the staff pieces and each get one half, saturating them with its powers. Calypso uses her power of mind manipulation to get all the museum patrons to begin attacking each other before Hespera uses her powers to unleash an element that turns everyone to stone. The goddesses then state that it is time for them to go after the champions of this realm. In Philadelphia, Billy, in his Shazam form, talks to a local doctor for advice. He feels like he is not contributing anything meaningful to the city since he and his fellow superheroes have gained a reputation for sometimes making situations worse rather than better. On top of that, he doubts that he was ever worthy of being given powers in the first place. The doctor is a pediatrician, not a therapist, but does his best to give Shazam counsel before he leaves. Billy returns home to his siblings. He plays games with Eugene, while Pedro has taken an interest in baseball. Mary has stayed home from college and works to pay rent, and Darla remains her usual cheerful and upbeat self. Freddy tends go off on his own with his superhero persona. Billy and Freddy overhear news of trouble going on in the city, and while Freddy wants just the two of them to take care of things, Billy calls upon his siblings to join them and take on their own forms. Additionally, the siblings are still hiding their superhero identities from Victor and Rosa. They arrive at Benjamin Franklin Bridge and find it collapsing. People begin abandoning their cars in a panic before the Shazam family arrives and gets people to safety. They manage to save everyone, but despite their heroics, they fail to stop the bridge from completely collapsing, and they are still called the Philly Fiascos. Shazam gathers the siblings at their Rock of Eternity hideout, but they each have their own commitments to get to. Mary stays to talk to him about how he has to accept that things are changing with the family and that it might be time for him to move on as well. In the realm of the gods, the wizard is imprisoned in a cell after seemingly dying after transferring his powers to Billy. He is confronted by Calypso and Hespera, who force him to repair the staff. The staff was the only thing keeping the daughters of Atlas from entering the human realm, and after it was destroyed, they came for vengeance as they consider the wizard a traitor for working against Atlas. At high school, Freddy bumps into a new girl, Anne. He falls in love with her right away, and she seems interested in him as well. However, the moment is ruined by bonehead bully brothers Brett and Burke Breyer. Despite them, Anne lets Freddy walk her to class, and he realizes he has a crush. At night, Billy goes on a date with Wonder Woman. As he is about to kiss her, the wizard takes her appearance creeping out Billy. He warns Billy about the daughters of Atlas and what they are planning to do, however, it turns out to be a dream. Billy later goes to warn his siblings about the potential threat. At the Rock of Eternity, the siblings learn that the daughters of Atlas guard the Tree of Life, which produces golden apples that contain the seeds of life, and they also have a mythical dragon at their disposal. Pedro leads them to a secret room with books and archives about various magic artifacts, along with a sentient quill named Steve, who directs them to the books they need to find on the daughters. They discover that it was Billy's fault for the barrier between worlds being broken because he was the one that broke the staff when they fought Dr. Savannah. The siblings also learn about Hespera, Calypso, and a third sister, Anthea, otherwise known as Anne. Billy is aware that Freddy is in danger. Freddy meets with Anthea on the roof of the school, where he wants to show her his superhero self. As he does so, Hespera and Calypso show up, and Calypso uses the staff to depot Freddy. When his teacher tries to intervene, Calypso uses her power to force him to fall from the roof and die. Before they can hurt Freddy, Anthea uses her power to manipulate the environment. The Shazam siblings then arrive to try and fight. The sisters create a platform with Freddy as their hostage, floating high into the sky until Hespera forms a massive dome around the city, encircling everything and everyone inside. Shazam can only watch as Freddy is taken by the sisters. Freddy is imprisoned with the wizard, who formally meets him and learns of his relation to Billy. The wizard laments in his cell because he believes Billy's selection as champion was a mistake. The wizard informs Freddy that anything he comes up with would be useless against the daughters as he attempts to devise an escape strategy. Freddy's siblings then use Steve to write a letter to the daughters to try and reason with them for Freddy's safe release. Calypso instead tortures Freddy with her powers and traps him and the wizard in a pit with their dragon, Layden the World Ender. Layden's powers cause Freddy and the wizard to be unable to run, but Anthea uses her powers to free them before Layden can kill them. Billy arranges a meeting with Hespera to try and get Freddy back and to get rid of the dome. Hespera reveals that the wizard stole the powers of the gods from her father and they want them back. At that moment, the rest of the siblings show up and try to jump her, but Calypso uses the staff to steal Pedro's powers. The fight ensues and Hespera nearly kills Mary and Darla to force Billy to surrender, but he is able to overpower her and they take her prisoner back to the Rock of Eternity using their magic doors. The siblings imprison Hespera and try to go over what to do next, but not long after, Darla discovers that Hespera has escaped with an apple figurine, taking it from the secret library. They realize that she always intended to be captured. The siblings follow her as she brings the apple to Calypso and Anthea. Meanwhile, Freddy and the wizard attempt to acquire the apple themselves since Calypso suggests planting the seed of life on Earth and unleashing their army of monsters. Freddy sneaks into the throne room and almost manages to get away with the apple but draws the sisters' attention. Shazam makes his way in and grabs the staff, but Calypso takes it back. The wizard returns Freddy his powers as they escape. Calypso attempts to use the staff against them despite Hespera's orders, but Calypso thinks her sisters have gotten soft. She then summons Layton to rise and go after the champions. The siblings, still in hero form, return home to evacuate Victor and Rosa. They reveal their identities to their surrogate parents, and the dragon arrives soon after to destroy the house. They retreat, flying to a junkyard, but Calypso, riding the giant beast, is able to depower everyone except Billy before grabbing the apple. She flies to a baseball stadium and plants the seed, and the tree of life springs to life, giving birth to hideous monsters that begin to attack and kill innocent civilians. After meeting the Shazam family, she tries to go after her sisters herself, and while Freddy tries to pursue her, she kisses him so he may stay behind and not get hurt. Billy resolves that it is up to him and him alone to save the day. He has a brief talk with Rosa in his normal teenage form, as he thinks he will get kicked out of the house due to aging out of the foster system, but she tells him he will always have a home with them. The wizard tells the siblings that there is one force that can fight the monsters, and that's the unicorns. However, he tells them that they are not like the pretty ponies in stories, but are violent creatures who hate humans. After learning what can appease unicorns, they learn that one of them is Ambrosia, and Darla has an idea. They locate the unicorns, and she feeds them Skittles, which the unicorn appreciates, and has its fellow unicorns arrive to let the siblings mount them and charge into the city to fight the monsters. Anthea attempts to get through to her sisters since the Tree of Life does not belong on Earth's soil. When it seems that Hespera has come around and will go against Calypso, she uses Layton to impale Hespera and then uses the staff to depower Anthea. He finds Hespera's body and manages to revive her so that she may help stop Calypso by trapping her inside the dome. Shazam finds Calypso and Layton as they nearly kill Freddy and Anthea, and he manages to swipe the staff from her so she may chase after him. Shazam lures Calypso to the field, and Hespera manages to shrink the dome down to the size of the stadium, enraging Calypso. Billy's family watches from outside the dome as he faces off against the angry goddess and her dragon. He uses the staff to power himself up and bash Layton's face, and the dragon's fire causes his suit to burn to a crisp. Shazam then charges himself up with the staff, summoning a powerful bolt of lightning that destroys the dome and obliterates both Calypso and Layton to ashes. Hespera quietly acknowledges Billy as both a hero and a god before she too dies for good. The family runs into the field to find Billy, and Freddy finds his lifeless body by the remains of the tree. Despite their efforts to wake him up, Billy really is dead. The wizard brings the family, plus Anthea, to the realm of the gods to give Billy a proper burial. The wizard states that with Anthea losing her powers and her sisters dead, there are no gods left that could revive Billy until a voice calls out, "There is one." The family turns around to find none other than Wonder Woman. She received an earlier message from Billy, and she uses her goddess powers to power up the staff over Billy's grave to revive him, and in turn restores the powers to Anthea and the siblings. Billy then rises from his grave and hugs his family. He awkwardly asks Wonder Woman on a date, but she tells him to stick to saving the world. The family returns home after repairing it, and they have taken Anthea in as well since she and Freddy are now an official couple. They are visited by the wizard, who is now choosing to live life on Earth as a civilian instead of wasting away in another realm. He is thankful to the family for helping him, and they view him as a friend too. Billy then asks the wizard what his own superhero name is, and he tells him it has always been Shazam. To watch more blockbuster briefs, subscribe to our channel and please like the video.